Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth Q&A. Guys, this is going to be a quick recording because I only have one thing to say, and I'm watching my 600-pound life. I don't watch a lot of TV, but if I'm watching TV, it's number one is going to be Impractical Jokers, and two, it will be the TLC channel. So right now, my 600-pound life is on, and of course, for those of you who do not watch it, it's a show that people are addicted to food. Now, mind you, again, addiction is addiction. You will have people who are addicted to cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, porn, etc., judging the same people who are addicted to food. Addiction is addiction. You are literally eating or doing something to mask pain, traumas, etc. So in their case, food helps them to mask like that emptiness, or mask some type of trauma that they're covering and never been processed. Well, anyway, the lady said something on there tonight. When she was talking to the therapist, she was telling the therapist that she was always told that she was never wanted. Her mother had an IUD, and the IUD slipped out of place and she was conceived. So all of her life she heard she was never wanted. And of course, I'm sure the mother probably just shared that just because that was the mother's experience, without realizing that telling a child or your child that they were a mistake. Because basically saying that an IUD slipped out, that means you were not supposed to be here. You were a mistake. So what is that doing? That is setting that foundation of telling a child you were not wanted. And even though I'm sure the mother loves her child and she's grateful that she has her child now, but that foundation was planted early on, telling someone that they were never wanted. So that alone right there sets up that foundation of rejection and self-esteem issues, all that stuff, because you weren't wanted. And so now her addiction of choice is food, but it could be drugs, alcohol, etc. Her addiction is food. So then I thought about it when she said that, and I heard of a personal story like that. And so I saw the guy who experienced that as well. And it's funny because that was something that he had always heard. But then recently, well, maybe about 6-7 months ago, we were at a function and he was drinking. And sometimes when people drink, like, their true feelings come out. So he said out of the blue that I was never wanted because my mother's IUD slipped out. But when he said it, this time it hit me differently than when I heard him say it before. And I was like, you know what? This thing has really bothered him all this time. And I guess I didn't get the concept because, again, you just feel like, well, that's how it happened. But now that you're here, everybody loves you. But remember, your foundation is what create everything. So regardless of what you learn as an adult, if the foundation in childhood was already created there, that's your default setting. That's what you will always believe if you're not intentional about telling yourself another story. And it hit me, and I said to him, I had to jump in because I can tell that was something that had broken his spirit and he had never said anything about it. And I said, well, listen, first of all, I'm sorry that happened to you. And I'm sure your mother didn't mean any harm. She was just probably telling her experience, because how many people are here by what we consider to be mistakes? I said, but that doesn't mean that you were not wanted. You were created for a purpose from God. God just used your mother as a vessel to carry you, but you were always wanted. Always. But see, if you don't change the perspective, you're too focused on the fact that my parent didn't want me. My parent gave me up for adoption. My parent abandoned me. I was from foster home to foster home. No one wanted me. And that makes logical sense because that's what happened. Somebody dropped you. They abandoned you. But ultimately, your parents were only chosen to carry you. You always had a purpose here on earth. Always. So you were always wanted. You were always needed regardless if your parent wanted you or didn't want you, regardless if you were a mistake or wasn't a mistake, regardless if you were conceived by a married dad or a married mom. You yourself was always wanted for God. There's a purpose and assignment on your life. Not because your parent didn't want you. So I hope this helps someone. And if any of you who have children and may have just said something like that in general, and I mean, it just may be your true story. Like, I didn't want kids, but somehow, But that's telling that child that you didn't want them. And they're really receiving that as you don't want them. You just tolerate them. So I hope this helps somebody, but I needed to share that because when I saw this lady just now and the therapist was just telling her mother, like, you should never, I mean, even if that was your experience, that's something you don't tell your child, that they were an accident. So I just hope this helps someone. And if you are that child, I'm telling you, you are enough. And yes, you were wanted and needed from God. It's your girl.